What up, though?
What up?
Welcome to Hope Medicine's podcast with my guest, my homie D, Swiss.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to Swiss Talks, right quick,
Yes, sir.
They doing their thing. They going live on
Please,
what
please.
days?
It's changing. It's changing every week almost now. But right now we're looking at Saturday nights. So just follow the page, man. It's on Facebook. It's Swiss Talks, SWYS Talks on Facebook, and just keep up with us, man. We'll keep y'all hip to whatever days that we're gonna go live. More than likely a week in advance. So yeah, just follow the page, man, so you can stay hip.
So yeah, definitely follow that page. Today we're gonna be talking about fatherhood.
Yes, sir.
My boy D is a father, and I just found out that I'm gonna be a father. So
Come on.
it's only right that you bring a father on here to give us some gems, so we can all be great fathers,
Yeah, man.
So, start off. Growing up, how was your father, or like how was that experience?
Okay, so my experience with the father in general. My dad died when I was 10. But even prior to that, I never knew him. You know what I'm saying? So that type of thing. Never really had think I may have had maybe one or two interactions with him. But the father figure that I had was my mom's boyfriend. He was around for the majority of my life. And so, although he was not your ideal example of a good father, he was there, and that's more credit than I could give to my actual biological father. Even though I still honor him nonetheless, that's more credit than I can give to him. So yeah, I mean, you got to appreciate the fact that he was there, and the lessons that you learn, even though they could have been taught differently, I still learned. So yeah, it was definitely one of those kind of situations.
I'm not sure I understand.
Siri didn't understand.
Yeah, Siri didn't get it. Siri probably got a father.
Siri had a father. But yeah, mine's similar. No dad in the house. Dad left when we was little, so growing up without a father, and mom's having different boyfriends or whatever like that.
Right.
So, but nothing was like, I feel like for me, I couldn't attach to them because they wasn't my father.
Yeah.
Since I had a hard time attaching to fathers and stuff like that, even giving them a chance. For me, do you feel like you had a issue with that? And I feel like I still probably got an issue to this day with that.
Just to you mean just taking a attachment, a liking to male models.
Yeah, like giving them a chance. You feel me? Like kind of opening up to them, like not having a what up and that be that, but actual like.
I would say that's kind of hard because growing up we weren't conditioned to show emotion, so it was hard to be like, oh yeah, this is this is a guy that I feel like I can console and confide in or trust, because we weren't conditioned to show emotion. We weren't conditioned to say, hey, this is how I'm feeling. Can I talk to you about it? We weren't like, that wasn't the type of men we were taught to be. Young men we were taught to be. We were taught to suck it up. You know what I'm saying? We were taught to toughen up, man up is what they called it, ironically. So it was really hard to take, to take a liking to any men. And even furthermore than that, like there wasn't a lot of positive male figures in the environment where I'm from. So not only was it hard to open up emotionally or mentally, it was hard to find somebody too that even gave you the vibe, like, okay, yeah, you can chop it up with me. I'm willing to listen to what you got.
got to say, and give you good, honest feedback. So, yeah, it's definitely was a task that probably was unattainable at the time.
Facts. I feel like the closest I got to that was Pastor Al. Like, and that's when I'm 21.
Right.
20, So up until that, I was like, nah. And I still had my, still was uncomfortable with that.
Right.
At first, because you just don't know. When you're used to something, you kind of think, all right, So, yeah, I can definitely say that I had a hard time with that.
Right.
So you have 3 kids, right?
Yep. 3.
And give their ages. Just give us a.
So my oldest is 5. She'll be 6 this fall, October. She's 5. My son is the middle child. He's 3. And then my youngest, my baby, she's 8 months now. Yeah, just past 8 months. She'll be 1 in September, November. One of them.
Yeah. Dope.
They knew
dope,
you, yeah.
Dope.
But yeah.
So, was there some type of so coming from not necessarily having the ideal father, did that kind of make you somewhat nervous or somewhat anxious about becoming a father? And actually, what age did you first have Sally?
Celeste, I was 23. I was 23 when I had Celeste. And there was some anxieties about it, but I was a little further. Well, I was a babe in Christ. So I was still aggressive in my walk with Christ. So I'm praying about everything, making sure. And that's not to say I don't pray now, but when you first get saved, you got a zeal about you. You got a newness about it that just makes you makes you want to go hard. And over time, you don't lose it, but you learn how to maintenance it. You learn how to apply it where it needs to be. But nonetheless, I prayed about everything. I prayed that she was healthy first and foremost, and then secondly, I prayed that she was happy. So because I didn't want no crybaby kids. I tell my friends all the time, like I prayed for happy kids, and I prayed for healthy kids. And one of the main reasons that I see a lot of people with, and these were some of my anxieties, so I had to pray about it. Bible says be anxious for nothing, instead pray about everything.
Right.
And so these are some of my anxieties, so I had to pray about it because I see kids, I see people with kids that have special needs or disabilities or and of course there's no slight or no issue with with people that have disabilities or special needs, but I just knew that would be a lot to handle. The people that do have kids with special needs, those are some of the strongest people to me, because not only do you have to maintain and manage your own life, now you have another life that you're 100% responsible for, 110% actually, because I'm 100% responsible for my baby, my kids, and they don't have any special needs or disabilities, but so I'm 100% responsible for them. So the people that do have children like that, they 110, 120% responsible. They have to give up their own lives to make sure that their kids are taken care of and properly taken care of. So but yeah, definitely those are some of the anxieties. Just happy, healthy, was two of my major prayers. And then praying over my wife, that she was healthy, because I just hear so much. And these are some of the things that scared me. You know what I'm saying? Like pregnancy complications, especially with your first kid. Like when you're at the highest risk, if I'm not mistaken, when you had your first kid. So a lot of complications and stuff happen then. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure that's what I learned. But just making sure, just praying, just keeping my wife covered in prayer and making sure she was healthy mentally, healthy spiritually, keeping her covered, you know what I'm saying, talking to God and making sure that she was not losing her mind or dealing with any type of depressions that come along with being pregnant. So those are definitely the things that I had anxieties about and had to stay prayed up over.
That's good. That's the reason why I brought you on here. I mean, just not only for me, but for other people, because there's other people that's gonna be fathers.
Yeah.
And nowadays, it's getting younger and younger. People are becoming fathers.
Facts.
So I just feel like the only thing that people really lack is information. So, and the best person to give information is somebody that experienced it. So
yeah, and not only that, I think because information is attainable. What I think people lack is the wisdom. So to me, everybody can get information, but how to apply that information, that's where the wisdom comes in. I heard somebody put it like this. We know that what did they say? We know that a tomato is a fruit, but we don't put it in a fruit salad. And to me, they were just saying, like wisdom tells you, okay, yeah, tomatoes are fruit, but most people won't eat a tomato in their fruit salad, even though it fits in that category. So just applying wisdom to the information that you have, that's where you get the best results. So
and then so with being a dad, okay, what would you say was different about the first kid to the second and third kid? Like, what would you say was different about you? Like,
experience. You learn I make jokes about it all the time, but your first baby is the experiment. And I don't care what people say, you can never be completely 100% prepared to be a parent. It's gonna be a new experience. You don't know what method you're gonna adopt. You don't know what you're gonna afford. You don't know a lot of that. You just know you want to make sure that you give this child the best life you can give them. That's all you really know for sure. Everything else is like you learn it as you go. So this is the experimental baby. Like example, stuff like, something fall on the floor. Oh, trash. You know what I'm saying? The pacifier fall on the floor. Gotta go rinse it off with soap and water. And you know what I'm saying? Like when you get to the second baby, like, you wipe that boy off with your pants. Like, here you go. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that experience. But when we had our first baby, we thought everything was just going to be immediate harm to our baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, the wind blow too hard. Oh, she gonna have a cold. Like, you know what I'm saying? And she gonna get sick, and just everything was just amplified. You know what I'm saying? But when you get to the second one, you know from watching the first one and growing with the first one, you're like, okay, that ain't gonna hurt. You know what I'm saying? You'll be all right. Like, perfect example. My daughter, when she was around maybe 1.5 or so, just started breaking out. Like, she just started breaking out. Face, everything, just like a lot of little tiny bumps. It wasn't like chicken pox or nothing like that, but it was just a lot of little tiny bumps. And so we didn't know it was random, it was sudden. We didn't know what was going on. And so we finally took her in. When we took it to the doctor, they were like, you can't give babies honey before 2 years old. Completely new to me. Never heard anything like it. Mind you, my baby was eating Honey Nut Cheerios smacking them, like popping them like candy. She was eating Honey Nut Cheerios every morning. That was her, her little table snack. She, you drop some Honey Nut Cheerios on the thing, and she'd be tearing them joints up. So, when you get to the second one, okay, we can't give. You know what I'm saying? We can't give you honey before the age of 2. Again, this was news to me. Never heard it from my mama. Never, you know what I'm saying? Like, but it's set in me. You know what I'm saying? It's something I learned just from experiencing. Like, my baby was bumpy. Like, her whole face was just broke out. And it's not that they're allergic to it. It's just whatever it is. I don't know if their body's just not prepared to process. I don't know what it is. It's actually kind of fascinating. But yeah. So you just the stuff like that you just learn. Like, as you go along, you learn. Hey, I need to make sure I take 2 or 3 changes of clothes because this mug boo boo down her back. And you you out in public, you know what I'm saying? You out in the streets and you hit, you know what I'm saying? Like that immediately deters your day and you got to go back to the crib. So yeah, it's just stuff like that. You learn stuff like that between 1 and 2. And then even between 2 and 3, you know what I'm saying? You're more polished. I feel like, you know what I'm saying? Like you got stuff down to a science. Even though some stuff it may still be chaotic, in your mind it's organized chaos. You know things are gonna be like okay, but you just in the fire and you're like okay, I'm cool, I'm chilling. Like this is nothing I haven't seen before. So especially experiencing between the kids is what really polished me from one kid to the next.
That makes sense. That's funny. That's hilarious. Yeah. So, what would you say? Okay, a lot of people have this thing where they're kind of worried about having girls.
Right.
As a guy,
right.
There's I don't know some type of anxiety or worry about having a girl, and you had a girl first. You know,
out the gate.
So, and I'm pretty sure first what did you want, a boy?
Absolutely. I feel like most fathers want a boy.
Yeah.
Out the gate.
Yeah. So, just kind of explain how you had like your own thought beforehand and then you experienced it.
Man,
What was the difference between that? Like what, you know?
It just set me straight as into thinking I control my future. Like I control, like it's realistically all in God's hands. You have no control. And so I had to grasp that fast because you get disappointed, you know what I'm saying? But my thought process, and I think along with most men, is like, okay, I'm about to have a boy. He gonna carry on the legacy of whatever legacy I got going on. And he gonna hold it down. He gonna, you know what I'm saying? He's just gonna carry on whatever my legacy is. He gonna play sports, you know what I'm saying? Whatever you did or whatever you do, I think subconsciously most men want to vicariously advance what they did through their son. So if they hooped or if they played football or if they, made music, whatever the case is, I feel like most men want their son to pick up the mantle and go on and be better at whatever it was than they did. Like, so I'm like, I had it in my head, like, okay, I didn't go past high school as far as playing ball, so out the womb, I'm like, I'm about to put a basketball in my son's hands. He about to dribble it, all that cute stuff you see on YouTube, and it didn't go nothing like that. First L I took was that I didn't have a son. That's the first L. The second L I took is that I had the girliest girl you could have, so I didn't even have a tomboy. Like, so that's L number 2. L number 3 is she's not the slightest bit interested in sports. She wants to dance and color stuff pink and sing, and you know what I'm saying, she's a girly girl. Not to mention majority of her family are girls, you know what I'm saying? It's not, we don't have a lot of boys in our families on her mom's side or my side. So actually I take that back. She has 3 uncles. But as far as cousins, she doesn't really interact with her cousins like that. Plus they're a little older than her, so I got the girliest girl. She's around all women 80% of the time. If she's not around me, she's around women. And so now you got the girliest girl, which is cool because I don't want to raise a super aggressive, masculine woman. So I want a woman with some femininity. I want a daughter with some femininity. Independence for sure, but still feminine and still submissive where it needs be. So those are just those are just dream killers. In my head, I'm like, I'm about to have a boy lifting weights and all that God stuff, man. But God quickly let you know that this ain't your show. So yeah, that was a wake up call.
That's dope. It's funny because me and my wife was talking about boys and girls because I think I want a boy, but like my thing is whatever God gives me, I'm cool with, you know. So I just think for me, I feel like a boy would be easier. Like any male would think that a boy would be easier because you
Oh, you learn.
You're a boy, like, you know.
You learn, but that's not necessarily true.
You know.
You learn that with experience. Like, so,
Yeah.
I get to my second kid is my boy. I get my boy. So I got a split pair. I got a girl. I got a boy. And there are aspects about girls that are easier. There are aspects about boys that are easier. Neither one are more easier than the other. I will say that. Like, that's a myth. People like to think that boys are easier. No, they're not. Trying to potty train your son to use a urinal is not easy, especially when they don't know whether they got to pee or boo boo. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not easy. It takes work. It's, you know what I'm saying? Like, girls, easy to potty train. They sit on the toilet every time, 100%. Can't lose. You know what I'm saying? So, but the difficulty in that is that you have to teach girls how to properly wipe themselves. So I thank God that, you know what I'm saying, me and my wife, that I'm with my wife, and she can teach, you know, properly teach my daughter that, stuff like that. Boys, they ain't got as many crevices and, you know what I'm saying, cracks and creases that they gotta maintenance. So there's point being is there's aspects to both that are easy and difficult. You know what I'm saying? Girls later on in life, you got some difficulties that you gotta address. Boys later on in life, you got some difficulties you gotta address. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is.
I guess you you know, nip that.
I
mean, it makes sense. You know, the way you explain it makes sense. You know, because like I said, this is my thoughts beforehand.
Right.
You know,
right.
So just how you had your thoughts beforehand, you helping me to be like, nah, bruh. Either way, it's still still tough.
Man,
you know,
that's the beautiful thing about having people that have been where you're going. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you get the wisdom that you get wisdom that you wouldn't have had. So instead of you having to go through learning something by experience, you know what I'm saying, you can go find somebody that been through it. Hey, how did this go? You know what I'm saying? I could be like, hey, don't feed your kid honey before 2. You know what I'm saying? So and now you have that knowledge, so you won't have to deal with having your kid with the bumpy face, or, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. So that's the beautiful thing about having people around you that you can glean from. And even the fact that we talking about fatherhood, you know what I'm saying, like, we would have had some of those male figures in our lives, then we wouldn't have had to bump our heads where we did at certain points in our life, and we probably would have advanced so much further. You getting ready to have a kid, but the knowledge that you have around you is going to advance you with your kid so many years. You know what I'm saying? Like, and of course you could pick apart what you can use, what you can't use, eat the meat, spit out the bones type thing, and then you could insert your methods. You know what I'm saying? However you want your kid to come out. So yeah, man.
That's definitely the dope part about having friends that are older than you. You know, like, they didn't experience certain things that you may not have experienced.
Right.
You know, and then just being willing to ask the questions, because you got people that aren't willing to ask. You know, they feel like it makes them dumb, or I don't know, they just uncomfortable with asking questions. And that's just, for me, I'd be like, no, I want to know, like.
Yep.
Bro, like, I know that you know this, you know somewhat or something, so I'm gonna ask a question about it, you know, so I can get the information, you know, and decide what I'm gonna do with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's definitely, so, like, basically having that community of fathers, you know, that can sit and talk and kick it with each other, you know. I think that would change a lot in this society, because I feel like we get a bad rep. Even on Father's Day, let's speak on that. Like,
right.
I feel like fathers, because there's so much bad, in a sense that basically they put all the bad up front. Like, fathers do whatever, and they
Propaganda.
don't, you know, like,
yeah.
They don't give the respect for the fathers that's actually, you know, doing what they're supposed to do. So right now, Father's Day just passed, and I want to give you your kudos, and everybody else, all the other fathers that are doing what they're supposed to do. And then even the fathers that aren't, you know, you're still a father. Like, at the end of the day, nobody can take your fatherhood away. Like, nobody can take that from you. You're still a father.
One thing that just dawned on me not too long ago is that you still, even if you're a father that's not necessarily where you should be, I still honor fathers who, even if you're not necessarily where you should be, you reproduced, which is one of God's not necessarily a command. One, it's not, I would say it's one of God's mandates, like you just said, is to reproduce. You know what I'm saying? Be fruitful, multiply, and that's not just saying go have a bunch of kids and just go sow your oats everywhere, but you know what I'm saying, to reproduce here in the earth with, you know what I'm saying, good men and people that are to be vessels by are used by God. So just the fact that you followed up on something, you know what I'm saying, like you reproduce. Now you have to follow up on making sure that what you reproduce is going to be good to reproduce.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. But I feel like actually this is actually proven is that bad news is what sells. Bad information.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Bad news sells. People don't necessarily, and I don't know why it is. I can't get the slightest idea why it is. But bad news sells when people are slandering their baby daddies on Facebook, or when people, you know, just got something negative to say in general. That's what people gravitate to. You go look at somebody. Say you see a woman on Facebook and she got a man having a man bashing session. 9 times out of 10, you're gonna get on there and see the comments going crazy.
For sure.
And the reason being is because 9 times out of 10 they relate because they've had a similar experience with a man. So the man bashing is going crazy. They slaying us on there. Now, not the same person, but next woman has a husband appreciation post. Let's just go with that as the opposite. And you might see some likes on there. You know, maybe you can get a little comments trickle in, but nobody is on there like. Not a lot of people are on there like, oh yeah, man, you know what? Because my husband is this, that, and the third, and he's just you don't see that. And I guess the reason would be is because so many people can relate to the negative news. So many people gravitate to the bad stuff that happens versus accentuating the positive things that happen. So I think that's why you know what I'm saying, bringing up how much slight we get, you know, when it comes to Father's Day. It really just started becoming a thing, like where people are actually standing up for the fathers. Like, hey, listen, we don't want to see you posting about how you a father and a mother. No, we don't want to see that. Because you're not. You are a mother, and you deserve all your praise in that very right. But you're not a father.
Yeah.
Flat out. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that, to me, when people do that, that just slights fathers. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can have all your praise as a mother, but to be like, oh yeah, I'm the mother and the father, and you know what I'm saying? That's just, people just do that to slight the fathers who have been less than perfect. Who, you know what I'm saying, who have been less than the standard, I guess. So yeah.
Yeah, I definitely see that. Like, I seen that post on Father's Day, and I was like, at that shows that you have some bitterness.
Yes.
You know, that shows that you're not healed from what happened, you know. And for me, like, on Father's Day, I text my father, like, Happy Father's Day. Right. You know, because at the end of the day, you are my father, you know, and nothing we can do can change that, and I don't want to change that, you know. God had a plan, plain and simple.
Right.
So I definitely reached out to him, and, you know, he said basically that he would like it better if we were on better terms and stuff like that. Right. But, you know, I told him, like, as long as we're still breathing, there's still a chance for things to get better, you know. Right. But yeah, that's definitely something that I seen. I actually prayed on that day, on Father's Day, for the people that have hurt and bitterness, you know, still, you know, because I could see it. Like, going on Facebook, I could still see it. I'm like, first, I could see it on posts. I could see it in people, like, just action. Like, it was just the vibe that I was like, nah, people ain't too happy today. Like, you know. And I try not to do that, you know, because you can easily do it, but I try not to do that. Yeah,
you relate to the experience. Like, oh, you had a bad father? Yeah, me too. Let's go ahead and just trash him right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Let's just But it's I don't know why it's just so easy for people to be negative, man. And that's just in general with anything. It's so easy for people to complain about everything that's going wrong and ignore everything that's went right. I feel like this is way too easy. And even in that same breath, man, I want to thank everybody who actually went on there and wished me a happy Father's Day or shot me a text, because a lot of people don't even pay. A lot of people toss that to the side, like, and just start acknowledging all the negative posts. You know what I'm saying? But even in that, you know what I'm saying, I feel like you kind of slight fathers when you don't even acknowledge the people who are giving you praise, or the people who are, you know what I'm saying, giving you your flowers while you can smell them. So I definitely want to thank everybody that shot me a text message, that hit me, that posted on my Facebook or DM me, whatever the case is. That stuff helps. You know what I'm saying? Like, in my opinion, it helps because people know it does you some good to know people pay attention to your tendencies. Like, if I didn't get no, you know what I'm saying, even though I'm not the type of person that looks for it, if I didn't get no text messages, like, you know what I'm saying, like, hey, happy Father's Day, man, you doing good, keep it up, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? You feel it subliminally, you feel a kind of way. I mean, subconsciously, you feel a kind of way. You know what I'm saying? Like, dang, and nobody think that I'm, you know what I'm saying? Like, even if your kids write you make you the ugliest card in the world, at least that's something. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you don't pay attention to that. Like, your kids could have made you a ugly paper bag drawing or something, and you be like, no, but they ain't text me, such and such ain't tell me. I mean, your kids are telling you, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Your kids get up every day. My kids get up every day and come in there and hug me. And of course, I'd be like, man, get off of me. But in reality, man, they're giving you the affirmation, man, the confirmation that you are doing something right. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, like, I feel like, even as dads, like I said, we kind of disregard all the positive. We kind of disregard, like, man, your kids get up and show you love every day. You know what I'm saying? And the only thing you can focus on is who's not telling you you're doing, you know what I'm saying, you're doing X, Y, Z. Nah, man, you got to accentuate the positive, man.
Yeah. So, all right, with that, how important would you say fathers are? You know, like, just elaborate on how important they are for the world, for man, everything. You know,
I could dive so deep into why dads are important, but just to keep it simple. Ultimately, man, the Father created us. The ultimate Father created us. And I feel like he set the standard. He did set the standard. First and foremost, he's a creator, and he built, he created. And I feel like that's a standard as far as being a father. You have to be a creator. You have to be a creator. Then, secondly, you have to be a nurturer. You have to maintain what you've created. You have to renovate what you've created. You have to build up. You have to add on. You know what I'm saying? You have to keep it polished, whatever it is that you have created. Whether it's kids, whether it's something that you're working on, whether it's material, object, whatever it is that you're creating, requires maintenance, requires nurturing, requires it to get it to a point where it can reproduce on its own the same thing that you've produced, and even better. And so I think the role of the father is unmatched. And even when you look at what happens when you take the father out of the home or out of the family, you know what I'm saying? Like, how much stuff goes wrong. There's a bunch of statistics and there's a bunch of numbers that, you know what I'm saying, that say a lot of different things. But just in layman's terms, man, I feel like it is vital to have a father in your life at some point or another. Because some people don't have a father in their life as long as they like. You know what I'm saying? Some it's not guaranteed that you'll have one there as long as you like, or give you all the wisdom that you need, or, you know what I'm saying, or even be the perfect father. But I feel like it's ideal that you have one. Like, it's just the utmost importance, in my opinion.
Yeah, I just kind of thought of the game of chess.
Right.
How, like, the game don't end until you take the king away.
Facts.
You know, like, the queen can move around, do everything, but until you take that king away, the game don't end.
Yep.
So it's like like the queen can be doing everything, but soon as that king is gone, it's game's over, you know. And I feel like that's what that's Satan's plan.
That's a good analogy. Yeah.
You know, but I just like just when you were talking, I thought of that. Like, you know, it's crazy how different games and stuff like that can really teach you something, you know.
Yeah.
But like that's real important, and I feel as if for people that didn't necessarily have like the best fathers, I feel like you put pressure on yourself to be better than what you had, and it's not in a negative way. Like, you know, you're not trying to, oh yeah, you know, but it's more so like, I just don't want a kid of mine to feel the hurt that I felt or feel the lack that I felt. You know, I have to break this cycle. I have to break this generational curse. You know, I have to make sure that my kid is good, you know.
Yeah. I think even in regards to that, man, one thing we do that we often forget is that we don't have control. The Bible says, train up a child in the way that they should go, and when they get old, they won't depart from it. I feel like we spend so much time trying to make sure our kids are going to be a certain way, and only thing we can do is pray and teach them what we know according to who we know. You know what I'm saying? Teach them what we know according to the word. And once you release them, it says be anxious for nothing, instead pray about everything. Like, that's all you can do, man. You just hope that even if they sway a little bit to the left or the right or fall off course, that in the back of their mind, they'll hear their father telling them, hey, you need to get it together. And it'll, you know what I'm saying, knock them back on path. Because it says they always going to hear your voice, you know what I'm saying? Especially if you spent time with them, if you instill certain things in them, they're always going to hear your voice at the end of the day. Like, what would my dad think? You know what I'm saying? Like, what would my dad say? And that's because as a father, it's your responsibility to instill in your children who they are, whose they are. Also, to build their faith and let them know that, you know what I'm saying, that we serve a God that is capable of doing anything and everything. So I feel like we spend a lot of time trying to be in control, and a lot of times we're not. I hear a lot of people having this conversation about Dwayne Wade and who was it? Boosie. They had, you know, their parenting methods were polar opposites. Boosie, you know, Boosie was doing this thing, I guess, where he at 13 or whatever age it was, he was he getting his kid a lap dance, or was he getting somebody that had sex with his kid or something like that?
Something about a strip or something.
Something along those lines. And then you have Dwayne Wade on the other end of the scale, and his son is what is he? He's not transgender, but he's just full blown. I don't know if it's homosexual or trans. I forget exactly what it is, but it's along those lines. As far as the LGBT community thing goes, he's on that end of the spectrum, and people are arguing back and forth about who was right, like who's right and which method is right and which method is wrong. And to me, I feel like neither one of them. They both have aspects that they believe are going to help their children. Even though I stand on a different set of morals, they're both doing what they know to do as far as what's going to help their children. People are like, yeah, my son ain't gonna never be gay, or my son ain't gonna never be this or never be that, and I'm like, how could you know that? You know what I'm saying? Like, how could you know what experiences your kid are gonna have that are gonna lead to them, lead to their lifestyles changing or being altered? You know what I'm saying? For instance, Boosie. A lot of people take Boosie's side because they don't mess with homosexuality. And don't get me wrong, I'm not an advocate for homosexuality, but I'm giving you a perspective of how I'm looking at it. But Boosie, for instance, I would never introduce my kid to any type of sexual activity.
Why would I do that? That's creating perversion in them very early.
Yeah.
And you never know what that perversion will lead to. Your kid may grow up and now he at swinger parties and you know what I'm saying, and orgies, all because you expose them to sex at an early age. Same thing with on D Wade's end. You take your son to Pride, or you take your to celebrate sexuality with a bunch of men, women, other kids, and to me, I think both sides are there's some perversion mentally on both sides. But for everybody to jump on there and say what their kids are gonna do or what their kids are not gonna do, you don't know.
Yeah.
You can't. It's not in your control, and I think people are scared of that the most. Is that you're out of control.
Yeah.
And that's why you have to pray. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're a believer, I'm strictly talking to the believers. Like you know what I'm saying, you have to pray. You have to pray and you have to let God. You know what I'm saying? You cannot. There's nothing that you can do. You completely out of control. Nothing you can do. You can't beat them into wanting to do it. You can't lock them in their rooms for their whole childhood. Like, there's nothing you can do that's going to put you in control of how your kids lead their lives. The only thing you can do is train them up and pray. That's it.
True that. I mean, even when it comes to like speaking to people about God and things like that, like I feel like a lot of times as Christians, we're too controlling, or the word is supposed to do its job, plain and simple.
Simple as that.
Not us try to force somebody to be a certain way. Like, hey, bro, no, you got, it's the word's job to do.
Yeah.
God spoke the word and it happened.
Yep.
So I feel like even with you saying that, like, I feel like a lot of times we're too busy trying to control what's going on. We give somebody a word, but we trying to, all right, look, bro, you supposed to stop doing,
yeah.
All right, look, girl, that's not good. Like, but the whole thing is we have to speak the word, pray the word, and allow for the word to do what the word is supposed to do. Or that shows that we don't necessarily believe in the word the way we're supposed to believe in it.
Right. So I agree. And trust me, I used to be one of those, especially when I first got saved, and I was one of those like, no, you got to do this because you just got to. You got to do this because this is what it say, and this, that, and the third. Like, and we completely ignore scripture. Like, you have to season your words with grace. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just run up on somebody and tell them what they're gonna do and expect them to rock with it. Like, people have a natural inclination to rebel against somebody trying to force them to do something. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to season your words with grace and show people the benefits to, nice. You know what I'm saying, to having Jesus as a savior. I personally feel like a lot of people only want to use the word when it benefits their purpose or their, you know what I'm saying, when it applies to what makes them feel good. And completely ignore the word when it's stuff that they don't like.
Yeah. You
know what I'm saying? Like, when it comes to fatherhood, people don't like to be told about how they should parent. You know what I'm saying? Or like, but it's just all sound wisdom to me, man. None of it is led me astray. You know what I'm saying? None of it is brought about any negative impact. You know what I'm saying? Like, only thing negative is that some stuff goes against what my flesh wants to do. And the flesh is weak to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, all right. And when I mean by flesh, I just mean by your willingness or your desire to want to do what you want to do, even though it may not be the best thing for you. And I feel like a lot of people just want to do what they want to do. And that's where you get a lot of fathers who go knocking a lot of these women up, you know what I'm saying? Like, and go having 10 different baby mamas, you know what I'm saying? Because all they wanted to do was have sex. You know what I'm saying? All they wanted to do was hit and quit. And that was instilled in them from their fathers or the people that they grew up looking up to. And the cycle continues, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's because the flesh is weak. You only have a desire to please yourself. You don't have a desire to reproduce in the earth and make and create a legacy that's going to last for generations to come. You know what I'm saying? Like, their mindset is not on that. Their mindset is on trivial things, primitive things, like material stuff that you
pass away.
The stuff that's gonna pass away. But you know what I'm saying? Like their mind's not set on, let me create a legacy. Let me create generational wealth. Let me get uncomfortable and start this business. But in the next 5 years, this business is gonna be worth X amount of dollars. You know what I'm saying? Like, and my kids can benefit from that. They're not thinking that because we didn't have, you know what I'm saying, fathers to instill that in us. And those fathers were taken out of the home and not given the information. And there's just so many things. Like I said, I could dive so deep into why. But we'd be here all day, you know what I'm saying? So it's like it's so much deeper than people think. And I don't want to, it's hard for me to look at my kids and be like, I just dip on y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, I just leave y'all here just to fend for yourself. I don't know how you could ever look your kids in the face and come to that conclusion. But to me, man, that's no slight to guys that who are not taking care of their kids. It could be so many reasons, but I'm not going to give you an excuse. I'm just going to say that you need to look in the mirror. You need to do some self-reflection, and you need to be there. You know what I'm saying? Like, no matter the difficulty, because they didn't ask to be here. You did that.
Facts. You
did that out of lust, or, you know what I'm saying, just wanting to be Hugh Hefner or whatever the case is. You know what I'm saying? Like, you did that. And I feel like as a man, one of the major things that we have to do is take responsibility.
Facts.
For the actions that we, you know what I'm saying, that we took. We made these things happen. So now you have to see it through. That's what men do, you know what I'm saying? You have to see it through. Ain't no way I'm not gonna see my kids through. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to see what I created. All the way up until I'm gone. I want to see, all right, they got it. They good. I can go ahead and go to heaven. Nah, you know what I'm saying? Like, they gonna hold it down, and then they gonna, what I instilled in them, they're going to make it better. You know what I'm saying? I think Jesus put it this way. He said, these things and greater will you do in my name. And to me, it's like, not only will you do the same things that I've done, but greater. That means you're going to take what I've done and you're going to surpass it. And your children's children are going to do the same thing. You're going to take they're going to take what I've done, what I started, where I decided to sever the generational curse, and start to build something new, start to build a legacy that's new and that's positive and that's doing things for the family. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're going to take that and they're going to advance it all that much more. So, man, it's just hard for me to, you know what I'm saying, look at men who just abandon their kids. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong. Some men don't know. Some men, you know what I'm saying, don't have the means. You have the means to be in your child's life, even if you're not monetarily stable. But some men don't know. Some men have baby mamas that is just, I know, man, making it next to impossible. You know what I'm saying? Like, every chance they get, and that's because they've been hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would never write them off like that. They've been hurt by you, probably, by other men, probably. You know what I'm saying? And so they're gonna respond emotionally, just like you're responding emotionally by abandoning your kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it takes two to tango. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, all the parties except for the child share blame. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't know, man. I could talk all day about it. It's just it's just so many aspects to it, man. But yeah, man, it's crazy.
Yeah, I think fatherhood is, like, to me, like, just looking at the different fathers that I see as far as y'all, you know.
Yeah.
I think it's just dope, you know. I love to see y'all interact with y'all sons.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Daughters. You know, even me interacting with y'all sons and y'all daughters, you know, I love to do that. Like, you know, people know to this day. So, for me, just becoming a father, I'm just, like, excited about it because I just see y'all and I'm like, this is cool, you know. I understand that it's gonna be, you know, have hard times and things like, I get that, but I think just the gift, you know, because it is a gift. It's a gift. Not everybody can be a father.
That's true.
You know, like, in the Bible, there are certain people that couldn't, like, God had given them the woman ability to bear children. you know, and they would be like mad, like
they was tight about it.
They was hurt, like they would be,
and I didn't even peep that. You know what I'm saying? Like where we in a society where we're so self-absorbed that most people that you talk to, when you mention them having children, it's not a desire for them. And I, like you said, like that just dawned on me too, is that, you know what I'm saying, these women that were barren, they wanted to have kids.
Man.
They like, can you please? You know what I'm saying? They wanted to have kids. And that's just that shows you the difference in mindset, is that we're self-absorbed. We don't want to have kids. And most people you ask why, most people you ask why is because, oh no, I still got this to do, or I still want to, you know what I'm saying, or I got my life to live, and I ain't gonna have no kids till I'm 55. Like, you know what I'm saying, like most, and you have a lot of people that'll have this excuse, is that I don't want to bring my kid up in this world. You know what I'm saying, like talking about the modern age or whatever the case is. But I feel like that's just it's self-absorbed. It's selfish. You know what I'm saying, like you want to end your legacy at you. And you don't want it to progress any further because you don't like the way the world is going. If God brings them out, like if God allows them to make their way into this space, to this world, then that means He's equipped them with everything that they need. If you think about it, these kids come out, like now these kids are so technologically advanced.
Man,
they know how to operate our devices better than we do. You know what I'm saying? Like they're equipped for this world. If you think about us, you know what I'm saying, we were equipped to do other stuff, but we fit with the time that we were in. So it's just, to me, man, it's kind of selfish to be like, and don't get me wrong, you're supposed to have a time where you want to focus on you. Do not get me wrong. There's a time to be selfish. And by selfish, I don't mean like a hoarder, meaning like not wanting to share. By selfish, I mean focusing on self. I mean, nurturing self. I mean, perfecting or trying to mature yourself. There is a time to be selfish, man, but just the difference in mindset. Like those women back then wanted their legacy to continue. Those men wanted their legacy to continue. And here we are now. It's like, no, I don't want no kids because this, that, and the third. I don't want no kids because, you know what I'm saying, huh? To me, that's scary. And I don't knock you I don't knock people for their perspective or their opinion. You know what I'm saying? You have a reason. You think the way you think. But for me, it's like, and I was one of those ones. That's the crazy part. I was one of those ones. I don't want no kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want no kids. I still want to be able to, you know what I'm saying, do my thing. And I don't want to be bogged down with having to take kids everywhere. And you know what I'm saying? Like, but not like once you got into it, it's like, this is dope. You know what I'm saying? Like, I still look at my kids and it's still surreal to me. I'm 6 years in and it's still surreal to me. Like, dog, you got kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got, they, at some point they gonna be grown. You just watching them grow. Like, it's just it's hard for me to explain. It's one of those things you just have to experience, man. And I wouldn't have it any other way. That's the beautiful thing about it. If I go back and if I had a chance to go back and do it differently, I wouldn't have. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything is as it should be to me. You know what I'm saying? So it's a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah. So I want you to speak on. There's certain people, or people believe that once you have kids, you can't continue what you were doing, like the thing that you were working on,
right?
Your business or whatever like that. You can't operate it the same if you have kids. So
right.
Like, basically that your life has to completely change. So I want you to speak on that. Let people know.
I could understand how you would get that perspective. It's more so, okay, when I had kids, it's not about me anymore. I got to drop everything. And that's not the truth. That is very far from the truth. What it does that makes people uncomfortable is that it gives you something else to be responsible for. And you can handle responsibilities. You just don't want to. You don't want to have multiple responsibilities. You don't want to be responsible for kids and having to schedule your day and having to be prompt and have it to, you know what I'm saying? You don't want to have to be as organized. You don't want, because that requires the next level of being organized. That requires the next level of discipline. And that's what I think it is that most people don't want to have to go to the next level of discipline, because discipline isn't fun. You know what I'm saying? Like, discipline is, I want to be able to get up at You know what I'm saying? If you're not employed or whatever the case is, or even if you are employed, your Saturday mornings are different. You know what I'm saying? You off work on a Saturday morning and you can't sleep in because you got to get up and, you know what I'm saying, tend to your kids. You don't want that responsibility. Most people don't want that responsibility, and so it becomes back to the selfish thing. You know what I'm saying? But that's to me, that's what it polished me. It made me better because now, in a time where I wouldn't have had the discipline because I had no reason to have the discipline, now I do. Because, okay, you say you want this, whatever it is. I'm a photographer. You say you want a business, a flourishing business. You say you want to master your craft. You want to become this caliber of photographer, videographer, whatever the case is. Now you have to be organized. You can't just get up at any time that you want to and get straight to the nitty gritty. No, you have to be organized. You have to set a time. You have to get up. Okay, make sure my kids is good. 8:00 in the morning, get them breakfast. You know what I'm saying? Get them out the way. Make sure they good. Whoop de whoop. And then by 10:30 to 11 o'clock, get lunch ready and then focus on business. Or you know what I'm saying? Whatever, go study, whatever the case is. Now you have to be organized at a time where you didn't, versus a time where you didn't have to be organized. And that's what I think a lot of people, the misconception a lot of people have, like, oh, I have kids, now I can't go to school. It's not that you can, it's that it's going to be harder. It's going to be that much more difficult. And once stuff becomes difficult, we abandon it. I don't want to do it if it's difficult. Then I'm straight. I want it to be easy. I want it to be bam, ABC. I don't want no in between. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's what I think it is. But that's not facts. It's not the truth that you have to drop what you have to stop going to school. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Cora, because Cora just graduated high school after being out of it for like 10 years or something like that. 8 to 10 years, whatever. Excuse me. Cora, if I'm not mistaken, she had her son, or was, you know what I'm saying, pregnant or whatever the case is, and could not finish high school. And so she dropped out or whatever it was, stopped going, whatever the case was, tended to her son for however, I can't remember how old Corey is now, but however old Corey is now, tended to her son for that long, and then found the space to go back and get her high school diploma. Like, even though, you know what I'm saying, the time doesn't matter. God will restore that. The time doesn't matter, but the fact that she like, okay, I done disciplined myself to this degree, now I can go back and finish what I started. My wife, she took, you know what I'm saying, she's been in school for off and on for 10 years. Because we've had 3 children in that time span, and she, you know what I'm saying, she needed a break, and she got to tend to her newborns and all this, you know what I'm saying, but she's determined, like, no, I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna finish. You know what I'm saying? She just graduated with her bachelor's degree, and now she wants to go back even more. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a thing where they're hindering you. It's the fact that the difficulty is hindering you. You don't want things to be difficult, and that's what I think it is, man. We don't want things to be difficult. For a long time, I let my music take a back seat because I have family, and I got debt, and I got kids, and I got ministry, and I got so many things that will tell you, hey, the thing that you're good at, the God-given talent that you have, you got to drop that to do all this other stuff. God wouldn't tell you to, no. It's not that. It's that you have to be more disciplined in order to get it done. You have to be more efficient. You have to be more godlike. You have to do things as unto the Lord. You have to be polished. You have to master your craft now. And that's the part that scares people. It's not
the pressure.
Yeah, that's the pressure of having to do all of these things is the part that's scary. I'm 98.8% sure that's what it is. It's not the fact that kids like literally say, hey, no, you can't go to school no more, bruh. You got me for 18 of them things. Like,
I'm here.
No, that's not it. Kids ain't come out the womb saying that. All they come out the womb is doing what God programmed them to do. And you like, oh, I can't do this and that and this and that. That's what it is. It's the pressure of discipline and the pressure of being more organized that stops people from pursuing whatever it is that they were doing beforehand.
That makes sense for sure. Shout out to I'm not sure, Toby. Probably one day he'll see this. You feel me? I'm not gonna cut it off. I'm not gonna, but shout out to him because I think it was dope. Like he took his daughter to like the BET Awards. Like he
Hype.
had the little strap
the strap.
thing.
Hype.
And I'm gonna get one just cause like I just dog. And he had like taking her to like concerts, his concerts. She's on the stage, and these are things that like I don't know. I feel like she gonna remember it in a sense.
Right.
Like, she may not remember it in detail, but she's gonna remember I was here. So
It's a bond, man.
yeah, so I just think that's dope because he showed like, yo, you can still do what you were doing. You just gotta go to a different level.
You gotta go to a different level.
And that's how I feel like. Originally, like I was like kind of nervous, like even when it came to kids, because like I didn't necessarily like plan, like yeah, I'm about to have a kid right now,
right, yeah.
And I feel like God did that on purpose because I think I was trying to have a perfect situation. I'm like, yeah, I want to,
Impossible.
And I'm like, God, like no, this is my will. Let my
Facts.
will be done, So I'm like, oh, okay. So when it happened, I'm like, all right, then, and I feel like I needed that push, because I feel like I operate at a high level, but I can operate at a way higher level if
Right.
I have something that, is pushing me, and for a father, you're not going to allow for your kid not to eat. Like,
Not at all.
That gotta be like the worst feeling ever. Like,
And that's why like I can't. I'm from the hood. Like, what I'm saying? I cannot, as much as it irks me to see, guys scamming and stealing and robbing, and a lot of those guys have families to feed. A lot of them. Some of them are serving selfish reasons, but a lot of those guys have good reasons to do bad things. And it's not necessary. And don't get me wrong, like there's always a way. But I cannot condemn people who seeing that their kids ain't got it and they can't get a job or they don't know where their next dollar coming from. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand it. I understand their mentality as far as why I got to do what I got to do. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't justify stealing from people. I don't justify robbing people. This is not a justification. This is just me understanding. I'm gonna tell you. This is our theme scripture on Swiss Talk. It's Proverbs 4:7. And it says, "Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom. But in all thy getting, get an understanding." And I understand why people do. Certain guys do what they do. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not gonna let their kids be without. They're not gonna let their kids have to go through the struggle that they went through by any means. I actually salute the idea of just doing what you feel is necessary. I salute the idea of it. I don't necessarily salute the action, but the idea of it I salute, because you have that mindset. Now all it takes a little tweaking.
Yeah.
It takes a little tweaking to be like, okay, if I can scam these people, if I can finesse, you know what I'm saying, get all their credit card information, why can't I be a computer programmer?
Yeah.
Why can't I be somebody who writes who designs algorithms for Instagram? Why can't I be, you know what I'm saying, you learning the negative versus getting yourself the credentials to really get paid legitimately versus taking out of somebody else's family's pockets. You know what I'm saying? Like, so again, I salute the idea. I don't salute the action, but I salute the idea of doing what you feel you have to do to support your family, your children, your wife, whatever the case is. Like I said, I salute the idea, but again, it just takes it requires some tweaking, man. The tweaking of your mindset to be like, okay, if I can sell drugs, I can sell anything. If I could sell, you know what I'm saying? If I could sell whatever the case is, I could sell anything. I could sell legal substances just as well as I could sell illegal substances or whatever the case is. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just requires a tweaking of your mindset, man. But yeah, man, it's just, that's one of them things I could never condemn some people for, because a lot of those guys are good dads. You know what I'm saying? A lot of those guys are like, listen, some of my family, you know what I'm saying, some of the most gangster dudes you'll ever meet, you know what I'm saying. But when you see them in a home setting, man, these guys are playing with their baby girls, and you know what I'm saying, they having tea parties, and you know what I'm saying, like you would think that's not the person who, you know what I'm saying, like in my instance, put a gun in my hands and tell me, hey, listen, this is how you use this. When you see them in a setting with their kids, they're a whole different person. Yeah, you know what I'm saying, and that's why I'm like, I salute the idea, because I know, not even deep down inside of you, but I know inside of you that you're fatherly. You know what I'm saying? You want what's best for your children. You want to see your children grow up to be better than you, but you had to do what you had to do in order to even give them a foundation. But yeah, man.
Yeah, that makes sense, because I feel like God equips everybody, like, to they have that in them.
Facts.
The father has a father in them, like,
facts.
You know, a woman has a woman in her, like she has that, and you can't. I don't care what you go through, you can't cut that. Like, you still have it. Yeah. Like, whether you choose to go with it, you still have it. You still have the feeling, you know. So that was on fatherhood.
Yeah, man.
We ain't gonna talk y'all to, you know, because we go on and on.
I'm telling you, man, this could be all day.
This the bro. So we can, you know, when we have conversations, they make us think and make us, you know, keep going and think of other stuff. Call each other, like, bro, you know. So
facts.
This is a reason why I brought him on here, because it's just somebody that I look up to, somebody that I gleam off of, somebody that I talk to, somebody that I trust in, you know. So it's only right that I bring him on Hope Medicine's podcast and allow for him to release the information that God has given him to release. So,
and just before you close, I also said this not too long ago on Swiss Talks, is that the Bible tells us to honor our father and our mother, that you may live long, that your days on the earth may be long. So even if you haven't had the best example of a parent, father or mother, go back and chop it up with them, man. Like, whatever unforgiveness that you have, you know what I'm saying, whatever it was, like, I don't care what it was, go and hash it out. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying go and scrapping, but go and hash it out. Like, go and say, hey, listen, this is why I feel, this is why we don't talk, this is why I feel the way, and set the stage. You know what I'm saying? Understand that, set the atmosphere for how you want the outcome of the conversation to go. Like, hey, can we talk? Or, you know what I'm saying, hey, I want to talk, but I want it to be a mature conversation. I'm not here to argue. I'm not here to fight with you. I want you to understand why I feel this way, or what I feel and why I feel this way. And I want you to, you know what I'm saying, however you word it, man, just understand that you want a certain outcome out of the conversation. You want to leave the conversation without having any more hurt or any more anger. You know what I'm saying? When the thought of your mama come up, or the thought of your pops come up, like, you don't want to be, when the thought of your pops come up, you immediately feel resentment. You immediately get upset. You don't even want to be around people talking about their parents. You know what I'm saying? Like, because yours wasn't the best example, or yours wasn't around, or, you know what I'm saying? Because it's some people I know, you know what I'm saying, they parents ain't around, and their parents didn't die. Their parents didn't pass. My father died at 10. Never got a chance to chop it up with him and get his perspective. And I don't even know, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if that was from my mom's or if that was because he didn't want to be there. I'll never know. If you have the opportunity to know, you know what I'm saying? If you have the opportunity to get an understanding, go do so. You know what I'm saying? I know a friend of mine, a good friend of mine, she like a sister to me, Taylor. Her mom's passed when she was young, but she wasn't super young. She was old enough to know who her mom was and have a relationship with her mom. And her mom was actually, you know what I'm saying, there in her life. And then to lose them, you know what I'm saying, like, to where you don't get that back. You know what I'm saying? My wife, her mom passed due to gun violence or whatever the case is. She doesn't, you know what I'm saying, she lost out on somebody that she had a good relationship with. And now it's often where my wife would be in tears because she can't she can't talk to her mom. You know what I'm saying? So if you have that consider yourself blessed to have the opportunity to go and reconcile. Don't, you know what I'm saying? Don't, and even if it doesn't go well, get the ball out of your court.
Yeah.
Go and say, hey, listen, I feel this type of way. This is, you know what I'm saying? This is why I feel, but I just wanted to get this off my chest. Hopefully you understand. And get the ball out of your court. You know what I'm saying? It's for you. It ain't for them. They gonna feel how they gonna feel. You know what I'm saying? But at least you can know that you said your piece.
Yeah.
So man, I just want to leave y'all with that, man.
But yeah, I mean that's real for sure. Like I know from experience. Like I talked to my dad when I was 23. Yeah, like last year. You know, for the first time. You know, because he left when I was little, so of course you're not gonna remember any conversations back then necessarily. But I talked to him, flew out, you know, to Atlanta to meet him, and we kicked it for that weekend and stuff like that. And that grew me so much, you know, and it allowed for me to heal. And and the reason why I did it was because I wanted to be able to give my wife my whole self. Right. And I felt like something was holding me back, you know. I didn't know until God was like, yep. This is what you gotta do. Yeah. And I was like, you show. No, when I tell you like emotion, I was like like it was all type of emotion, all type of stuff that was coming up that I did not necessarily know was there. But like I stuck through, and like D even telling me about his pops, you know, how he didn't get that conversation. I was like, oh yeah, well let me make sure that, you know, I have this conversation. Yeah. So, I mean, even to this point of me being able to call him or text him right now, and him being able to respond is just a story in itself, you know. So, like he said, everybody that can reach out, man. You just don't know, you know, and you don't want to have that on you if that person does pass away. Like, you don't want to feel like, because it's hard to get that away, you know, get that off of you afterwards. You know, you can't talk to the person that you had an issue with, you know. So like with that, for you to be a better father, better husband, better everything, you need to deal with the issues that you had with your parents, you know. Yeah. So that's another podcast, Hope Medicine podcast. Like I said, shout out to D for coming on. I appreciate you. Like I said, go to Swiss Talks. Add the page. Look out for that. Music. We got music. Everything.
A lot of music coming, man.
Pictures, everything. My boy do photography, everything. So just look out for all that. And, thank y'all for listening. And this is Hope Medicine's podcast, and we out.
Peace.